So now I'm going to invite Dinesh and Krista up.
Thank you, Brittany and Will. Hi, everyone. I'm Krista. And so I'm here to talk to you guys about the wonderful nonprofit organization that is the Performers Academy. And in doing that, I want to start off with asking the audience a question, just to reflect upon, which is, how do we express our emotions as humans? So, how do we take our life struggles, our challenges, and the emotions that they bring to us and communicate that into the world? What tools do you have to express these things? Do you scream? Do you punch holes in the wall? Do you not express how you feel? This is part of what the Performance Academy does. They take this emotion and they put it and they teach these kids how to transform this into art. Just to give you a broader picture of what the Performance Academy is, their target focus is at-risk youth. So teaching these bringing the power of the performing arts to all of the community, to the entire community. It's teaching art how to express emotions. It's giving a safe environment for them to self-express, and it's inspiring creativity and innovation in the arts. This is just so to give you some of the demographics of what the Performance Academy has many programs, and one of their main programs is the Just Like Me program. And to give you some of the demographics on the students of the Just Like Me program, this is a sample from the 2016 program, and 60% of these kids are African American, 25% Caucasian, 7% Hispanic, and these children are referred from FSS because they have some of the hardest behavioral problems. And just to give you some statistics on foster care youth. So foster care youth have had extreme circumstances in their lives. 1 of 2 of these children have had 4 or more adverse family experiences, and these are not to be taken lightly. These can range from abuse, neglect, and create all sorts of trauma in the lives of these children. 30% of these kids have emotional problems, and from that, 25% will have PTSD from their trauma, from their experiences. And because of these circumstances that they've been put through, this leads for them to have behavioral issues. And so that leads to these not so great statistics of 25% become involved with the legal system, only 48% will graduate high school, and 50% will develop substance abuse issues. But Performance Academy is focused on being able to teach these kids ways to handle these circumstances and to make it better, to make their lives better. So here's just the broad structure of the Just Like Me program. It's building a foundation for better communication skills for these children. They're given 2 projects to work on during over a 3-week summer period, and at the end, they're given the opportunity to perform their artwork. And this is just a quote from a poem that the Just Like Me program broadly represents as, "We have been destined to succeed because part of you is just like me." Reading the fact that with the proper attention and care of these children, they can overcome their life's challenges. This is some of the types of art that Performance Academy offers: songwriting, rap, poetry, musical instruments, dance, and acting. And this is an excerpt from one of the poems, "Lies beyond light, shadows under spite, feelings to get rid of because of fright." As you can see here, these poems are talking about real life struggles, and it's giving these students the platform to express those life struggles. And you might be wondering what goes on during this Just Like Me program. So one of the main things that you can see is art. It's giving these students teaching them the tools to produce art and teaching them artistic ability. And it's most importantly teaching these kids to use that art as a tool for expression. And through that expression, they're expressing how they're feeling in a healthy way. They're talking, they're communicating how they feel. They're not using anger or violence. And these are two more things that you might not inherently think of when you think of the Just Like Me program, but they're teaching the kids trust. In the first week of their programming, they have a trust exercise. And this is crucial for these children because they may not have a trusting adult figure in their life. And it's crucial for them to broaden, to create those bonds with people. And it's also giving them the chance to be honest about how they feel and feel protected in a safe environment. And this is another thing you may not think of. It's teaching them social interaction. So it's giving them meaningful relationship not only to their mentors, to their teachers, but also to their fellow peers and students in the classroom. Not only is it doing that, but it's giving them a relationship to the artistic community in itself and making them feel at home. It's also teaching them some basic social skills that you may not think of. Ebony provided us an example of some students who don't know how to shake a hand. And for us, that's something we take for granted. That's just a cultural norm that we all do, but for these children, they may not have had that structure to learn those things. And that's some of what Performance Academy does. It's breaking them out of that shell. And so these are 4 things that we in Performance Academy figured to be at the core of their programming. And this is some of the things that we like to measure. So I'm going to hand this over to Danish.
Hi, my name is Danish. I'm a statistics student at UNF, as you guys may know. Our focus areas, like Krista mentioned, was art, trust, expression, and social interaction. So we came to the conclusion that the 3 on the right, as you can see, they're to be measured by surveys and testimonials. And art, we can use text analytics for the poems and the songs that these students are writing. So to talk a little bit about the data, we had attendance records for the Just Like Me program, a short pre-post survey, and text data from poems and video transcriptions of interviews. So the data science for social good approach was finding a way to quantify qualitative work. And I think this is something that separates us from the other projects, is this was like the most difficult thing to do, is quantifying the qualitative work and how do we measure art. So we took on the challenge to analyze the art pieces, and we also revised the pre-post survey to capture student responses. So to talk a little bit about the survey, the Performance Academy had their own pre-post survey. So we evaluated their survey and looked for ones online through research papers that have already posted questions that you can look at, evaluating teens that are going through struggles. And we consulted with the Performance Academy, and we came up with a bank of questions and asked the client, which one can we keep and which ones can we remove? And then we came up with a new in-depth pre-post survey that the students could take. So I'm going to hand it back to Krista, and she's going to talk about the analysis she did on the pre-post.
So this is the portion of the survey that Performance Academy already had. So it asked students to rate themselves on a scale of 1 to 10. What is your exposure to the arts? How often do you use art to express yourself? How likely would you be to create art with a peer? And how likely would you use arts to express your life's difficulties? So as you can see here, there's an increase, and I ran a test, a non-parametric paired t-test, and it showed that there's a statistically significant difference in the medians of these survey scores. So although the survey may not have the in-depth level that we're trying to measure, it at least shows that there's an increase. And I think with a more in-depth survey, the Performance Academy could come out with great results showing real impact on these students.
So the analysis that we also did was Latent Dirichlet Allocation, otherwise known as LDA. So it's basically topic modeling, so associating words to topics. So we were given 21 poems, and then we ran the algorithm after mining the data and playing around with it. So all we're left with, the output of the model was a certain amount of topics with words that are associated with that topic. Now, this is where a machine couldn't interpret what these topics are, but this is where human interaction comes into play. So we looked at these words and we're like, what are these words saying? So like for example, in topic 1, like real, thing, make, we could say that topic is reality. And then here, feel, want, pain, we concluded that could be pain. And then love, heart, now, we conclude that that could be love. And for the last one, try, do or don't, take, that could be associated with the struggle. So yeah, so that's the analysis we did on LDA. And so recommendations for the Performance Academy. First, stages of the artwork. We were familiar with one student that wrote 5 poems over the 8-week course. So if we could get more examples like, if the client could get more examples like that, that would be much more, that opens up a possibility to measure like change within the artwork throughout the program. Archiving, storing anything and everything possible. This will help with better analysis, especially with TF-IDF and LDA. I forgot to mention that the LDA was actually inconclusive. It's not something that you could actually use just because we didn't have enough poems. Like, we would need more. And then expert evaluations, getting an idea of others' input rather than just the students. So case managers and teachers could write a more detailed opinion on how they think that the student is doing. And then the program directors could give a more broad aspect of how the program is going. And then documenting entry and exit interviews. So we were aware that the program directors actually take notes during the pre-post, but to document them like pre and post, that would also be another analysis that you could run. And the 5th recommendation is tracking incidents and breakthroughs. So whether a student punched a hole in the wall, like that would be an incident, and a breakthrough would be, oh, he spoke for the first time. So that's something you want to keep track of. And then longitudinal impact, like what happens after the Performers Academy? Like, do these students actually have this, do these students actually keep their change within them, or do they just go back to doing what they did before? And this would be very important just because we know that the Performers Academy does good work and that there is a longitudinal impact. So if there was a way that we could prove this, then this would be amazing. So thank you.